Hello and welcome to the first game of the day. We're gonna see 6 games today. It is day 9 of StarLadder Star Series Season 8. For the first 2 games, I am joined by G Advance. Welcome to the broadcast.
Hey, thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, thanks for being here. And wow, the moment that I was kind of worried that I started the intro too late. And then I felt, well, you know, the draft's actually going fairly slow, so that's cool. But then these picks just came out very fast.
Yeah, they were really confident with these picks, which is always nice. It's nice to see teams not having to minute to pick up their first hero, because then you're like, oh, you guys don't know what you're doing, do you?
Yeah, you don't know which one hero you want. I do like the Bristleback ban, by the way. First ban. Also Venom and Sail Titan ban not too common, but still nice. But I like the Bristleback ban the most because he has been making a big impact in the games that he has been seen in. And Lich, of course, first pick for Relax, who is formerly known as Poseidon, will also have a big impact on the game. Very early Doom pickup, though, I find.
Yeah, Doom is one of those heroes who really you don't have to worry about picking him up so early. So I think this is sort of them trying to mess with the draft. Doom's a very versatile hero. He's seen play as a safe lane carry, a jungler. I think I've even seen him play the off lane a few times. So I think the idea with picking this up so early is just to say our draft stays open and maybe hide some of their later plans. But yeah, the Bristleback been banned out, which kind of makes me sad because I think Bristleback is amazingly fun to watch because he's just a ridiculous hero.
Yeah, and he makes a lot of plays happen as well. He makes it possible to dive towers and he doesn't care because, you know, he'll be tanky and he'll be using his Bristleback to get away afterwards. It's, yeah, he is definitely fun to watch. But I also understand, because of that very fact, also that he is banned out and highly valued ban material lately. So, yeah, I agree with you with the Doom. It's such a versatile pick. I've seen it in the offlane mostly, but I haven't really seen it on VirtusPro just yet, so we'll have to see how they do. Talking about how they are doing, let's take a quick look at the scores, because so far, Poseidon, or Relax now, so they're on 9th position. They've had 5 games out of the 17 games that everybody will have, and 2 wins, 3 losses, not doing too great but not doing bad either, so sitting on 6 points, while VirtusPro, they have had 6 games, 3 wins, 3 losses, so slightly better than Relax, although they have now the chance to also reach that same score if they win this one. But both of the teams are doing fairly okay. I wouldn't say they're doing really good though, because I think like last Friday we decided, me and the co-caster had at that point, you can only have 4 losses if you want to make it to the playoffs. So only the top 4 goes on. So 4 losses is maximum. So both of these teams will reach their maximum. Either one of these teams will reach their maximum today.
Wow, that's actually really low number of games that you can lose in, what was it, a 17 game tournament each? That's a lot of games and very few in which you can lose. So StarLadder is pretty brutal.
Yes, very brutal. And I mean, it's based on experience, of course, from previous games, because there's no real number. Like, it depends on what the teams do, of course, but about 4 is the maximum. We've seen teams with 4 maximum.
Yeah, obviously it's based on previous experiences, but interesting drafts so far. We've seen Clockwork and Mirana picked up. I quite like Mirana with Crystal Maiden. Any hero who can help set up with Mirana just makes her that much more viable as a hero. She's already brilliant. Even without setup, already again another very versatile hero. Not great at farming, that's one issue she does have, but Doom and Crystal Maiden both quite fast farmers themselves. So I like the Mirana pick so far.
I like that you mentioned Crystal Maiden as a fairly fast farmer. I have to agree though, she's one of the supports that can actually fend for herself quite well in the jungle or on lanes, or actually just by herself on creep waves as well. Earthshaker picked up, this could be leading into an aggressive tri lane. Could also be seeing 2 dual lanes though, because an Earthshaker Mirana suicide lane, or long lane I should say then, because it's not really aggressive, it's a very safe dual lane actually. So it could happen. It really also depends on where they are expecting the Lich, if they are expecting the Lich to be on the off lane denying creeps there, because Doom is kind of a bit of a semi-counter towards the Lich, I find. Because of course, Lich is gonna deny creeps to you, you know, that's annoying. But Doom has got this safe farming tool that he can just constantly devour creeps with, no matter how many creeps are denied to him. So it's a bit countering to Lich, slightly. It's a bit awkward, but yeah.
Yeah, he can deal with it quite well, and like you said, that could be a dual lane Mirana Earthshaker, really strong dual lane. It could also be a tri lane, because despite the fact that we say, you know, Crystal Maiden's a fantastic farmer, what she was originally used for before, till she got popular in this sort of patch, is she was, you know, a try-on-try support hero because she's incredibly powerful from level 1 or 2.
Yeah, so the aggressive tri lane, she would fit in that too. A very open draft from VirtusPro. For Poseidon or for Relaxer, I have to get used to their new name. For Relax, you're doing fine. They have themselves a Lich, which I'm gonna assume is a support, but now that the Alchemist is pick up, I mean, I get that Alchemist doesn't necessarily have to be carry, it can also be support, but I'm kind of liking Alchemist support way more than I'm liking Alchemist as a carry lately. So, secretly, I'm hoping for a solo offlane Lich, an Alchemist and Visage support, and that they are still picking up their carry and put Clockwork mid, or Lich mid. I mean, it's not likely, I guess, but it's a possibility. I mean, are you expecting an Alchemist to be the farmer here, or a solo mid-Alchemist perhaps even?
I think they're going to decide it after they've actually picked, to be honest. I think they're going to decide it in the next sort of few seconds. Really, you know, like you said, Clockwork and Lich can both... Actually, even Clockwork can be a support hero. It's a bit odd, we haven't seen it for a while, I think. But both of them can play support roles, both of them can play offlane roles, and both of them can play mid roles. So, depending on what VP's lineup is, and who you want to go up against who. Because like you said, you know, Doom can cope well with Lich. He doesn't exactly enjoy it because he is going to be losing out on XP. Whereas if Lich was to go up against, for instance, the hero that was just banned a Puck, he would really not enjoy that lane. He can get killed quite easily, he can get zoned out of the lane quite easily. So it's all going to be about the lane matchups. I think there's a bit of mind games going on here.
Yeah, I like that both teams, because I just complimented VirtusPro on their open draft, but VirtusPro, or I mean, Relax, doing the same, doing exactly the same thing here. Timbersaw picked up last, also one of those heroes that we've seen in so many different lanes. So yeah, VirtusPro not giving anything away. I really hope that Mirana is not going to be the farmer, but it's going to be the Doom to be taking the majority of the farm, because I don't know, I just don't like Mirana in a hard carry situation. As you said, Crystal Maiden can set up for arrows, let her be aggressive, let them get themselves some kills. Nyx Assassin for the last one there, and I think with KSI picking up the Lich, that is the offlane hero, and with the Nyx Assassin picked up by Tamar Wild, which is the mid hero, I think we're gonna see offlane Lich, mid Nyx Assassin, and it is still a carry Alchemist. By the looks of it.
Yeah, I think
KSI, maybe KSI is the support actually. Looks like it is. Oh, Clockwork offlane.
Well, Clockwork offlane's just that little bit better, I would say. I mean, as a hero, Clockwork has been absolutely phenomenal. He's gone leaps and bounds, really, in this sort of patch. I keep on saying this sort of patch, but I mean, the patch has been in for a while now. I feel like I should stop saying that. But the hero has really moved to a point where he can absolutely dominate games, whereas an offlane Lich, you pretty much just do it to slow somebody's XP down, which doesn't really help versus a Doom, who is going to be the solo safe lane, it seems. So I think we are going to see an aggressive tri lane here.
Yeah, I hope so. I really do. Let's take a look at who's playing what. As we have got Arsart playing his Earthshaker, so I'm looking forward to seeing him make some slam dunks. So far he's rotating towards the top lane, where Light of Heaven is already there, or at least top lane, top half of the map, I guess. Light of Heaven playing his Mirana, which we have seen a bit of hit and miss play from him. We've got Jodam or Medved playing the Crystal Maiden, and then in the middle lane it will be G taking on the Timbersaw. With on the safe lane it will be Illidan Storm Rage, and yes, aggressive tri lane looks to be the case. So that's going to be an interesting lane to watch for sure. The battle begins. And in that case,
and this is a really dangerous lane as well.
Yeah, because actually the Lich in that lane would actually not really help them, because if they deny creeps, the diving potential of VirtusPro just increases.
Yeah, it's going to hurt them a little bit XP-wise. They're going to be down 1 creep, though, from the first level, which is really not a huge amount. And considering these heroes are really, like, this is a really strong combination of 3 heroes that are all very capable in aggressive tri lanes. Whereas on the side of Relax, you've got Nexus on the Alchemist, who doesn't really achieve what he wants to be achieving, which is that massive GPM. As a hero, you've got Dread on a Visage, which is going to be really powerful, but KSI just does nothing in this lane.
No, he is going to be having a really tough time. All he can do is deny, which doesn't really help his lane, as arrows will miss here on the top lane so far. So you want to still introduce VirtusPro or Relax? Sorry, wow, I just keep messing them up, aren't I?
I'm going to be terrible at it, yeah, but on the off lane we have Shaklo here. He's going to be on the Clockwork. The solo mid for the team is going to be Tame My Wild. On the Nyx Assassin and the tri-lane that we've already listed off, it's going to be Nexus on the Alchemist, farming up for that team. The support combination for the team is going to be KSI, as well as Dread on the Lich and the Visage.
Yeah, I think that even if VirtusPro doesn't get kills here on this aggressive tri-lane, I don't think they're off too bad. If they at least can shut down Nexus, they don't really have a secondary core that can pick that up easily, while on the other side, of course, Illidan is still a good safe core here for VirtusPro. So even if Light of Heaven doesn't farm that much, as you said, she's not the easiest hero to farm. And if they also don't get kills, it's not that bad. I also favor the I favor Timbersaw in the mid lane, by the way, up against Tame My Wild. It's very difficult for Tame My Wild to get in close without getting harassed. He does have a bottle to make up for that fact a bit, but I think he's gonna fall off real soon. Right now he's been able to keep up. It's 7 and 8 in last hits, but I don't think it's gonna be keeping that on.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, and going into these last couple of picks, I really favour VirtusPro just from the laning stage, because, like you said, Relax, they're only working with one damage dealer, one DPS hero, which is the Alchemist. He needs a lot of farm anyway, and they're going up against a Doom team. And Doom is the absolute perfect hero versus a one-core lineup. You just simply Doom the carry every single fight, and suddenly the enemy team's lost all their DPS. This could be really bad unless, you know, Shaklo gets stuff really done here, and he's actually going to go on Illidan on the bottom lane here.
Yeah, Battery Assault helping out. Illidan, though, he has a Scorched Earth turned on, and he can always regen so fast with that. So he should be fine here on this bottom lane. And when level 6 hits, I'm thinking even then Illidan is going to be ahead. I mean, a Doom on the Clockwork, he's really not going to be able to go anywhere. But I'm hoping that when Shaklo reaches level 6, he'll be able to rotate, he'll be able to help out his team, as an arrow will actually hit upon Dread. But they were gonna try and go for Nexus, but no arrow on Nexus means maybe no kill. The Starstorm is not there. Soul Subs, your Light of Heaven might be your first blood right here. Indeed, Dread takes it home. That arrow, if it was slightly more aimed towards Nexus, Nexus would have been the first blood, but missed arrow allows Dread, or allows Nexus to run away, and then VirtusPro shouldn't have tried anymore, but they did, and they failed.
I think that failed gank there is everything that's been wrong with VirtusPro in the past, sort of, since this team formed into that sort of all-star Russian lineup that everybody expected to do well. They never look coordinated, which is one issue with this team. There's no, I mean, nobody can look at this team and go, oh, well, obviously they're lacking talent. Like, that is not the issue here. These are all very talented players. These are all well-known players who've been in the scene for a long time, but they've never really looked on the same page, and frankly, that's a combination that I've played in pubs and done well with, you know? Earthshaker into a Marana Arrow is not a difficult one, it's just one that requires that little bit of coordination, so. Yeah. And like you said, Light of Heaven's generally been playing the off lane as well, so he's not been basically working with his team, he's been playing in a much more, been playing a fair amount of Nature's Prophet Marana, doing a lot of split pushing on his own, so. Yeah. More
of an isolated environment, I'd say, indeed. I mean, it's not. It is still possible for them to come back, of course, or at least to shut down Nexus. That's okay, even if they don't get kills. But yeah, it shows. Like, these kind of little plays, they are typical at the moment for VirtusPro, which is not something that you should be proud of if you are a VirtusPro at this moment.
Yeah, I think we just flame them. Only a little bit though, so it's okay.
Well, no, it's something that I keep hearing also from other co-casters, and just their games, they just lack a certain coordination, certain synergy. As maybe Illidan can get himself a kill. He must be careful though. Does have his Scorched Earth on, but the Battery Assault, one more flare would do the job. He's got himself some tangos. The flare is on cooldown for the moment, so Illidan will be fine. But that was very close, too close if you ask me. But Illidan
yeah,
lives,
this lane is awesome.
Lives. Yeah, it's just it's a big man fight lane, to be honest.
Yeah, both of these are generally heroes, especially with the build Illidan is going. He's making sure he's getting good points in Scorched Earth, and he even picked up the Unholy Aura from the large Satire, which gives him a ton of extra regen as well. You look at his standard regen without the Tango, it's around 4.8, I believe right now. Yeah, 4.8 it should be. So he's able to man-fight with the clockwork, which is something that is not normally possible, because battery assault does a ridiculous amount of damage in a man-fight. And you can see both of them have tried to man-fight each other early, and both of them have come off quite badly from it, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, Illidan, he still had some regen. He had that aura, he had the Scorched Earth, so he didn't have to go back. While Shackle was out of regen, he does have a full bottle now, and again, so he might be able to make something happen there. In the meantime, Tema Wild reaches level 7, so we've got ourselves Vendetta on the board, and I hope that he can use it also to rotate perhaps top and give some space to the Alchemist, because even though they're not getting kills top on the side of VirtusPro, they are still slowing down that Alchemist, and that's hurting them right now. Even so, and then comes the hookshot, really that's going to be a Crystal Maiden dead, no doubt about it. The arrow will still hit, but it doesn't really matter for the Crystal Maiden. She'll die.
Yeah, nice easy rotation then, something you pointed out early on. Shacklo needs to rotate around the map. He needs to be a hero that has a good early game impact to really have the same sort of impact that he can have. It's when he absolutely shines, it's just as he's hit level 6. Because he can come out of nowhere. He was carrying a TP scroll beforehand, which I think was a great decision from him to make sure he just always had one on him.
Yeah, and it's perfect timing. It buys Nexus time. The one thing that I do want to point out is that Alchemist, because he's up against an aggressive tri-lane, he actually went for the acid spray rather than maxing out his Grievel's Greed, which is understandable. But when he now gets some free farm, he doesn't really have that Grievel's Greed maxed out just yet, but shows what kind of impact that had. Talking about impact, that Fisher has an impact. Spike Carapace still helping out though, and G looking for taking down Tema Wild. The Timber Chain got interrupted, and with the bottle, Tema Wild will be able to make it out alive.
Wow, though that Nyx Impale then was absolutely perfectly timed. G would have guaranteed killed him. He had a Whirling Death up, he had the ability to get in there and do them some damage. And as soon as the Timber Chain went off, he managed to stun him, and it does cancel that now, and he's actually going to go on Illidan here.
Yeah. Oh, at least he uses his Hanamidas before he is dead, because dead he will be. Nice gank. Good fast rotation from Tema Wild. If it's one, wait a second, Dread. Well, they are diving Dread here in the middle lane. At least they get one kill on VirtusPro. But yeah, if it's one thing that is obvious for Nyx Assassin solo mid is when he is ganking, he is missing. And this time, he was forced back with low health, and he just instantly went bottom and got himself a kill without... Like, there was no warning for Illidan whatsoever that the Nyx Assassin would actually be there already.
Yeah, and that's a really, really smart move from the side of Relax there, because it's a little bit of mind games that you can play with, because they're going to say, okay, we're going to go on the Nyx mid. Alright, we didn't manage to kill him, we forced him back though, it's fine. Yeah. And then you're like, guys, he killed me, where's the missing call, blah 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 blah. You know, it's a nice smart little move to do here, and G with a haste rune looks to be in a bad position, but I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, well, I hope for him. I don't think so. 4 versus 1.
Alright, apparently I'm full of crap.
Well, to be honest, I mean, he had a haste rune. He was looking for action. He timber chained and missed the tree. And then still went in, and that gave Relax a bit of time to do some counter ganking. And his team wasn't there to back him up. It was way too far away. They didn't dive while he did dive, and that was just, I would say the typical G play, just overextension. Just, you know.
Yeah, and I mean, VP, oh god, these names, these are so terrible, because half the team of Relax used to be on VP. I find this horrifying to do. But one thing about the side of VP, the actual VP, the current VP.
Yes.
Oh.
The current VP that has Jotum as a stand-in, who is able to survive from a Nyx Assassin. His Impale missed. That's the only reason that she's still alive. She will die though with the Impale that hits. Yeah. This time it wasn't dodged. It was a nice dodge to begin with, and her backup might have been there in time to still do something against him. He's very low on mana. Fisher might do the job. Arsart, come on! Spike Carapace is not on cooldown yet. There we go. That's a kill right there. In the meantime, Doom goes down to the clockwork, by the way. That was not something that Illidan was hoping for. He used the Doom himself on the clockwork, but couldn't get the kill in the end. Too tanky.
Yeah, really overdiving. That was really, really far up. But one thing about VP at the moment is, despite the fact that they are falling behind in the early game as far as kills is concerned, they're not doing bad on farm. The 2 top farmers are G and Illidan, and Light of Heaven on the offlane Mirana. This is something we've seen being more and more common. I think it's a bit weird personally, but Light of Heaven, he is going for a Hand of Midas on the Mirana, so making sure that he can always get some guaranteed farm on the hero, because that hero otherwise does suffer with farming, and looks like he's going to die actually.
Yeah, he is. I have to say, I personally am not a fan of Mirana with the Hand of Midas because I feel like she should be the one, in this game especially, to want to create opportunities and such. Although perhaps you could argue that G is going to be the one to do that, but I don't know, it just emphasizes her to be perhaps more of a farming Mirana rather than a ganking Mirana, which is something that, you know, I prefer more. The ganking Mirana, the arrows, the plays. I want to have the plays. Please.
Yeah, I agree, to be honest. I think the farming Mirana role is, I mean, it's really outdated, right? It's something that we saw in very, very old Dota 1 games, where she was seen, because it's an agility hero, she can farm. It's like seeing almost like farming Vengeful Spirit or something, but with even less damage output. So yeah, I agree. I think this is a little bit weird. It does force you into a more passive state as well. One nice thing about it is that with Mirana, generally she's not very item dependent. Oh, Timbersaw? Why are you up there?
Yeah, I followed that. He was thinking he could get a quick kill up on the Visage who got fissured, but he was just way in over his head, and apparently he wasn't aware that the rest of the team of Relax was very close. So he just died. And right now, a Timbersaw is one of those heroes that I find, like, if he doesn't get ahead, wait a second, the Doom again up on the Clockwork. Can Illidan actually take him down this time? I don't think there's enough damage, and actually Tamer Wild is gonna come in.
Along with Tamer Wild
coming in. And the damage might be enough still from the Doom. Lich ultimate? No, Lich is not gonna get a kill actually. Tamer Wild gets a kill, and Clockwork lives. Again, that's another kill. And this is something that you just hinted on earlier on. Like, for example, Light of Heaven was used to play alone. They all have individual skill. But it seems like they're just playing their own game. They're playing their own pub. And the teamwork is just not there. The team rotation, like here we have Arsart, smoked up. He is together with some other people, that's great, but it's only the two supports with this, which is a stand-in. But again, I mean, maybe they can get this. Maybe. Echo Slam, stick charges, yeah, they should be able to get this. And here they work together and they get a kill. Great, that should be happening more often. Because they can't go in by themselves.
Like this game is 5v5.
Yeah, well, let's see. Soul Subject comes in. Fisher, Frostbite still there upon the Clockwork, holding him in position, but it doesn't matter because G is already dead. Illidan, Moonlight Shadow or not, here he comes. Looking for Dread, wants to have a double kill. He looks like he might be able to, but he has been forced away by the Lich again. Does still get the Visage and lives through it all. In the end, I mean, because they were together, they got 3 kills out of that one.
Yeah, I feel like you could make a children's TV show out of everything that was just said there about them needing to work together. Like, they really, really need to as well, because they've picked a lineup that's high on coordination. They're working with an Earthshaker, which is not a hero that you do things on your own with, pretty much. I mean, you can do some cool initiations, but that's it on the top lane here.
Yeah, well, it's a good trade, I find still. I mean, we saw that G jumped himself in. Light of Heaven didn't really know that Tamer Wild was around there, but at least they get a Mirana in return. But losing Alchemist in this case is pretty painful. Even though it looks like he already just bought out. He has got the Shadow Blade, yep. It's on the courier, so he will have that next time he comes out. And that is actually a big surprise for VirtusPro, I feel that. The moment that he comes back on the map, and if he doesn't show himself and initiate somewhere with the Shadow Blade, they will not expect it. That will be a big edge for Relax.
Yeah, this is a really, really aggressive item pickup, especially with the way the Alchemist works now, is that he doesn't have a huge amount of survivability or HP at the moment, so he's putting all in on the fact that he wants to do damage with the Shadow Blade and Stable Concoction Acid Spray combination, because if he gets caught out on this Alchemist, even with his Chemical Rage up, he can still go down at this point. So this is pretty dangerous from him. Looks like he's going to try and work with Shackler here on the bottom lane.
Yeah, they've got the hookshot up again as well. They are up against only Arsart though, who is by himself just trying to get some levels, trying to get some farm, working up until his Blink Dagger if he can get there in time before he dies, which is doubtful. We also have Doom going for a Shadow Blade, by the way, and even though he's higher on net worth, he still doesn't have that. Though he has got the Hand of Midas, of course, that helps him with Alchemist not going for a Hand of Midas. That might actually be helping out VirtusPro in the end, that Alchemist did not get a Hand of Midas. Of course, he still has his Grievous Greed, which allows him to farm very fast, but it might be the saving grace of VirtusPro. Out-farming, Relax. Still having the better amount, of course.
Potentially as well, and the fact that, as I said before, they're working with a Doom against a single damage dealer lineup. Nexus is their only right-click damage.
looks like Illidan is getting chased down by familiars. The stuns will come out. He will end up going down. Nyx Assassin dies with him though, because G made sure that he gets some retaliation. Looking for Nexus. Echo Slam dunked. That's gonna be a second kill going the way of VirtusPro, who have their Doom bought back. Coming back into this fight very soon. Impale still hits upon G. He might be picked up, but the Moonlight Shadow keeps him safe. Sentry Ward standing right next to him though. Urn Charge sticking through. Yeah, he's dead. Double kill for Dread. Everybody else backs himself out. Illidan as well came back after buying back. Wasted money, wasted time.
Yeah, that was really aggressive from them there. They used the Moonlight Shadow, but as you said, 2 sentries are down in their area now, so it really didn't make the difference that they wanted it to. I think at some point they thought their Doom had probably gotten out because nobody was actually going for him anymore. There were even familiars just sitting next to him, and then Alchemist just comes up and punches him once, and it was like, goodbye.
Punched.
Pretty sad moment for the side of VP there, because until that point I think they were kind of okay, but Relax are starting to pull ahead by a fair amount here now.
Yeah, and they had just picked up the Crystal Maiden as well. Timo is up until the point where he can find the Crystal Maiden by himself and kill him off, and yeah, at this moment, I mean, if you're looking at the 2 cores and or 3 cores and 1 core, this is the time to shine for Relax. This is their moment. Here is the point where they get ahead, and they're doing it well. They're executing their lineup properly, even though they had a tough time up against that aggressive Trilane in terms of getting that farm up on Nexus, but he still has his farm. He's actually been involved in 8 out of the 15 kills, which is pretty decent as well. And it looks like it's
and
time
that's absolutely... Sorry. Oh, okay. Well, that's absolutely what he wants to do, especially in this sort of game, because he can't... I mean, he's a great late game hero, but he still can't really afford to take things late, because there's a Doom on the field. So no matter how much farm he gets, at some point he's going to get doomed. All of his skills are going to become useless, he's going to take a ton of damage, and here's one of those points. He can't afford to get out of position like that, and he gets taken out by Illidan.
Yeah.
And Mirana.
Here comes an arrow. The Nyx Assassin already dead. Shacklo, the one who hookshotted himself into behind tier 1 tower, into enemy lines, killed off a Crystal Maiden and got out alive, will keep on living. He has a 4 staff to back that up as well. That was a pretty impressive play from him, to be honest, but Alchemist couldn't make it to the rest of the enemy team because of the fissure that was there, so he stunned himself, and that was what kind of turned it around. G is in trouble, tries to Timber Chain when the stun still comes in. Not something they should have done. He's still gonna Timber Chain away now though, but the Soul Assumption is already flying in, and the Urn Charge already taken down. Might be able to stay alive. The Fissure keeping him safe, and KSI cannot get in range anymore. Nice save coming off from the Earthshaker, and Timberstar will TP himself home.
Yeah, and I don't think many other heroes outside of Timbersaw survived that fight then. He's incredibly tanky at this point. Not only was he helped by around 8 stacks of reactive armor by about halfway through that, he also had a cloak and a point booster on top of this. So he's got a ton of extra effective HP here. The cloak really helps out in this game as well, because you're going up against a Visage, as well as a Lich who can both put down a lot of nuke damage on a single target, quite easily.
Yeah, and to be honest, I mean, that cloak really made the difference, because otherwise that Soul Assumption probably would have killed him. The cloak alone. If a Blink Dagger
Cloak's a good item.
Earthshaker cloak is a good item. I think it's slightly underrated sometimes. But the downside is, like, if you buy it and you're not going to go for the hood or the pipe, it's, you know, you just have a random cloak filling up your inventory.
Yeah, that's one issue with going for items like that, and it's the same if you want to go for a full hood. If you're like, oh, I need a bit more than a cloak, and then you're like, why didn't I just buy a BKB? Like, it feels almost redundant sometimes. Exactly.
So yeah, it's really just playing into him being able to tank all those nukes off, and he has been dying quite a lot. I mean, he died 4 times. He's been involved in 9 out of the 10 kills, though. Can't underestimate that one, but still, he needs that extra survivability. In comes the Moonlight Shadow. They're looking to defend bottom tier 1 tower. I think for the tower it might be too late. The fortification still comes out. They're gonna go in. They're gonna walk right into a sentry ward though. More sentry wards to be dropped. The Doom goes up on Timo right away. No impales coming out from him this fight. Dread trying to fly away. In comes an arrow. It's a Shakalo. Brilliant Echo Slam. Dread and Shakalo drop. Well, Timo still dies to the Doom in the jungle. That is going to be 3-0. VirtusPro, they really needed this fight, and it went their way. And if they can get a tower off the back of this, it will be even better. Because right now, they still are holding on to all their towers.
Yeah, they've managed to defend their towers quite well here. Relax don't have the best heroes for dealing damage to towers either. They have the VIII birds or something. Oh yeah, they lost their bottom tower.
Two VIII birds. To the VIII.
I was just saying, you know, VIII familiars are really, really powerful versus towers for a few seconds, and well, they went and bursted one down there. But yeah, they needed that fight, not just for the fact that, I mean, it's a fight that they took. They needed to get some wins. They also took 2 towers from that, but also for the fact that that was a really well coordinated fight. They went in with the Moonlight Shadow. I mean, it's simplistic, but it's well coordinated.
Yeah.
They got the arrow off after Echo Slam had been used. They got the Doom off on perfect target. The person who was invisible, who, like you said, was then completely able to not do anything in that fight. Impale, unable to get anything off. Doom, just a really, really strong pick here, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And a really nice coordination.
Yeah, he's getting very far ahead in terms of net worth. That Hand of Midas helping him out, of course, as well as his Devour. He's sitting on 3,100 gold already again. He is 3k higher than the Alchemist, who did pick up his Grievous Greed level 1, I guess. Can't really compare that, but that's just a pretty impressive feat. And right now, I mean, the gold on its own is already close to 10k in favor of VirtusPro. Those towers playing a big part in that, obviously, as we just have an Alchemist dying here on the top lane. Talking about Doom, he used his Doom, got himself a kill with the Shadow Blade. An experienced Graph also, because of the previous fight, going the way of VirtusPro. And Illidan denied the tier 1 tower top. So towers are still one in favor of VirtusPro, with even one denied on the side of VirtusPro themselves, which is, yeah, it's just really good. Denying that farm to Relax, making sure that Alchemist is going to take a long time before he can make things happen.
Yeah, and one thing about the Alchemist is you can, whoa, take my wild.
I think that we can call that dunked. I mean, show
that
off
is the most dunked anyone has ever been.
Yep. No time for a Spike Carapace there at all. He just didn't see it coming. Looks like they want to make it go in from behind here. This is the last outer tower standing on the side of Relax, so they can make it happen. G-Beck's off. With that Invis rune, I feel like I could have made a play, but he's too careful for
he maybe
for
could have, but yeah, they're walking into heroes who are really, really strong at counter-initiating, things like Visage and Lich. Lich is one of the most amazing heroes versus a team that has already committed to a fight. He pops down Chain Frost on pretty much any target he feels like, and VP are given the option of either running away or all dying in a big messy heap.
Yeah, and that latter option doesn't really sound very attractive, to be honest. Dying in a massive heap, bloody, blech, no. Well, they still get the tower because everybody left it, so that's good. Not so good for Relax, as they now have no, well, only one tower to give them a bit of Roshan control under the tier 2. In the meantime, that's a kill. Doom by himself, it was a Vendetta and a hook shot, and he had no chance of getting away there. Well, finally they get him.
Shaklo so far had a nice game impact here. He's been really, really helpful with those hook shots. He's 6-2 and 2 so far. He could be maybe trying to improve this a little bit, but one thing that Relax were able to do, as well as that gank, during the time that they lost their tier 1, they had a nice big Ancient stack here, and they took this out with Acid Spray, and now they're going to go into the Roshan anyway, because they do have the Miner's Armor coming out from that, as well as the Medallion on their Visage, so they can do this quite quickly, despite not having a huge amount of right-click damage at the moment.
Yeah, the arrow will scout it out, but without the Doom, it's just very difficult for them to actually initiate on that, unless they want to, like, no, there's no Echo Slam on our side either, because he dunked him a while earlier, so this will be a Roshan given away, or taken by Relax, I should say. Nothing was given, it's just taken. Nexus, of course, will take the Aegis. He's sitting on 1,200 gold. I feel like he's missing some that he had earlier. What's in the courier? No, it's just a gem.
No, he's just picked up an armlet of Mordigan now. So he's picked up an armlet which synergizes relatively well with Chemical Rage, because you can turn on Chemical Rage, and I'm pretty sure from like level 1. Yeah, from level 1 you can turn on Chemical Rage and your armlet, and you will gain HP, which looks absolutely ridiculous and really is. But it synergizes really, really well with his skill set as well. So I really like this item pickup from him so far. He knows he can't afford to go for that, you know, big bad late game hero, because, like I said before, no matter how big he gets, he can still get doomed. He can still stop being as useful as he was. And wow, counter smokes from both teams here.
Yeah, great minds think alike. Of course, Relax has a slight issue with an Aegis there, but I think it. Oh, wow, this high ground advantage that Relax has might be making a difference here. They find each other. The familiar stunt's already coming out with Crystal Maiden being the first target. Lich Ultimate bouncing through a couple of times, but Illidan already has his BKB on. He is gonna be fine. Apart from that, he's locked in cogs. Can't reach anybody apart from right now. Nexus finding him. That is gonna be Doom dead. Crystal Maiden had already gone. Hookshot in, still finds Light of Heaven, who tries to leap himself to the low ground. Moonlight Shadow to cover his escape. That was not a good fight for VirtusPro at all. As Tamawell still picks up the Earthshaker, who thought he was out safe, but he was not.
Yeah, that was a really, really bad fight for VP. It looked like it might be okay at the very start, but one issue that they had was that 4 people have relaxed with smoke up. Tame My Wild went all the way around, found Arsar in the Roche pit, who was preparing to blink Echo Slam in probably, and just attacked him. And the Echo Slam didn't come out, Fisher didn't come out, he wasn't able to use any of his skills, he was just stuck there fighting a Nyx Assassin who was inevitably going to lose against, so they weren't able to bring in their big team fight ultimate, and they lost the fight pretty badly from that point on.
Yeah, and on top of that, there was a Doom stuck in cogs. Brilliant play from Shaklo. He cogged in Doom, force-staffed himself out, and then just let him there to rot until Alchemist had time to deal with him. Timur Wild, I think you're on the wrong side of the tower. Yeah, he was. Still, I mean, this is something that VirtusPro has been doing. Even whenever Relax has taken a fight, which has happened for sure, they're not getting the buildings off the back of them. They're getting them at some point, fair enough, but all they got after that fight was some damage to the tier 1 tower, but not the actual tower itself.
Yeah, they're making sure that they really, really don't lose these towers early, because if they give the side of Relax a big GPM advantage, things can scale out of control very, very quickly indeed. There's a Nyx Assassin, a great hero for dealing with your squishy support heroes, even your Mirana. He can deal quite well with the Mirana. The Earthshaker and the Crystal Maiden will both quite quickly die to him if he gets ahead of them.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, the same goes for the Clockwork and the Alchemist. They can very, very easily get pickoffs. They just need some more map control to do that, so VP are making sure they keep as many tier 1 towers as they can, and like you said, they've still managed to keep their tier 1 mid, which is really important for them.
Yeah, with a gem now up on Relax, that map control is gonna fade away on the side of, for VirtusPro at least, because well, this is actually a brilliant ward. Clockwork has to actually be in range, and then someone has to stand on the high ground, and even then, can someone actually see them, unless there's a flare flying over?
I don't think you can see him from here. Maybe if you blew away these trees, then you could see it. I don't know. This is, yeah, that's a really, really nicely placed ward there. It doesn't see a huge amount. It only sees like this sort of small area near the tower.
And
but
it
helps you
the
just
high
that little bit now and again. And it's not going to get dewarded despite the fact that Clockwork has a gem. So yeah, nice positioning from that ward.
Yeah, I like those kind of ward positions that indeed, if you have a gem, it's so difficult to actually ward against that team. But those kind of ward placements, well, they can always happen, and that's just, I like it. Just means that you're not entirely blind. We do have everybody of VirtusPro sitting quite close together. It seems like they want to smoke up, but is there actually smoke in the courier? No, there's a gem in the courier. They want to counter ward of their own. They still smoke up, though, with the gem, seeing how far they can get.
Yeah, they had smoke on AA. So they're going to go in here. The first person they're going to meet is Nexus, who's going to look pretty dead after this.
Yeah, Fisher, the Doom itself doesn't even come out. The Aegis does get popped. Perhaps he wants to save Doom until afterwards, because in comes the team of the Nexus. Nexus already dead, though. No Doom even needed for that. There's not even mana on Illidan to use it. Even though he does have the sick charges. If he wants to, he could be. VirtusPro, they still want to go. They still want to see if they can maybe take down the tier 2. Which would remove the dire advantage of Roshan completely. Considering VirtusPro still have their own tier 1 mid standing. I don't think that...
Yeah, that was a really, really nice kill for them. It really doesn't look like it. I mean, one of their biggest ways of counter-pushing is Acid Spray, and, well, he's all dead right now. He lost his Aegis immediately from that as well. That was something that was really, really scary about that fight, because Illidan perfectly timed everything then. He let a load of stuns pop off onto him, he let them focus him for just a few seconds, and then turned on his BKB after the Aegis had come back up on the Alchemist. Then, like he said, he didn't even need to drop his Doom, because they were able to stun down and burst down the Alchemist so fast. Who, at this point, is looking really quite squishy.
Yeah, he's looking to change that with an Assault Cuirass. In the meantime, Lich Ultimate trying to help take G down. It's working out. That Lich Ultimate having the bounces. Oh, Medved. What are you doing there? You are kind of outnumbered, and that's going to be a Gem of True Sight back in the hands of Relax.
They forgot to steal the dust as well. They're not very good thieves.
And they now have both gems, actually. Or did they have two? Am I seeing that wrong, or did they just pass it on? No, they have two.
No, they have both gems. One on Tame My Wild, one on Shacklow.
Yeah.
So, maximum sight incoming.
Yeah, and this Nyx Assassin Ward, like the gem was only just purchased by the Crystal Maiden, so that's why she released the Freezing Field. She was just really, really prone on just getting her gem back. But, I mean, that's the worst feeling, right? You loan something to someone else, and that person loses it.
That's awful.
That is awful.
Does everybody now blame the Crystal Maiden if this game goes bad for them? Is that what happens? Is this going to be like a pub game? Everybody's going to report him?
Because the Crystal Maiden loaned the gem to someone else.
No, didn't he have the gem?
No.
Oh, no,
Timbersaw had the gem. Crystal Maiden loaned it to him, and then lost it. Or Timbersaw lost it. Like, that's the worst
that's pretty
feeling.
upsetting.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to report G. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
That's how it works in this one. If I was Jodam, I would be quite upset. Like, if I give people my stuff, I want them to return it to me, like, whole and everything, not give it to my enemies. To use it as they will. Oh, sir. Salt Grass, ready for the Alchemist. I think that we need to start looking to see if Doom also is going to build that. And if there might be... Like, there's not really a Desolator carrier, apart from perhaps Mirana later on. But that might be something that they should be looking at, considering that Alchemist is going to get more and more tanky as time goes on. He's already sitting on 24 armor.
Yeah, he's getting a ton of armor. One issue that he does still have is his HP is really low. He only has 1200 HP at the moment. I mean, compare that to the Crystal Maiden, who is also sitting at 1200 HP. So he's still very, very vulnerable to nukes, even with his ultimate on at this point. I mean, with his ultimate on, of course, it's getting kind of impossible to kill him, but not to the point where you really want to be at for an Alchemist. He's got more HP once he turns his armlet on, of course, but yeah, without his ulti, he's very, very squishy still at this point in the game. He might want to pick up just a casual vitality booster, and in fact, he's going to go at an Ogre Club, so it looks like he is going to go for a full BKB.
Yeah. I think it's a good idea, because as you said, he is just a bit of a glass cannon sometimes. I mean, he still has the armor, but if there is any kind of minus armor put on, he will be dropping real fast. And talking about that, there's no medallion or anything like that on the side of VirtusPro, so I guess for now he is just fine. But that's also why I say just get yourself a Desolator. Perhaps, I mean, they are gonna go for the Assault Cross himself, assuming that that's what the Doom is building, but it will be quite late. And perhaps he even wants to make something else out of it, perhaps even a Shiva's Guard. I wouldn't mind that one either.
Yeah, I think Shivas would go relatively well this game. They're not too bothered about having a lot of DPS as well in this game. They're more bothered about having a lot of nuke damage, and eventually Mirana does become a slightly better DPS dealer than a Doom, just because she can always hit people, whereas Doom can get kited around a little bit. He does have a few issues with that, unless he goes Shivas, at which point, well, then your DPS potential goes down. So the hero is kind of counterintuitive as far as doing DPS and stuff. I mean, look at his skill set. He's a utility hero, really. He just happens to be really good at farming, so you're like, yeah, let's get DPS items.
Yeah, let's try hitting things, in which case the clockwork of course comes into play, because there's a lot of ways to lock him out or to slow him down with the lich or to stun him up. They have a lot of disables on the side of Relax to make sure that Doom can never reach the target. So his BKB is still at 8 seconds, but once that drops lower, will be quite risky. Blink in, Fisher, want to go for Tame a Wild, the Doom comes out as well. It should be an easy pick-off, and indeed Illidan will take it home. Good secure kill. The rest of Relax is completely on the other side of the map. Not able to back him up. Was a bit odd positioning, I guess, from Tame a Wild as well.
Yeah, not much they can do about that. But at least Jotum's got his gem back, and this time he's not giving it to G. He doesn't trust him anymore. He's been spited.
Yeah. I don't blame him.
You sound really resentful about this.
Well,
I'm not gonna lie.
I just can imagine, like, you know, you buy an item and someone else loses it. It's just
middle tower is under attack.
It's frustrating. It's like someone telling you that you're lying and you're not. Someone accusing you of being a liar and you're not. Something like that. It's also very frustrating.
It's quite. I'm sorry. It's just so funny how annoyed you sound about this. It's like when people steal pens. You know, like
Yes!
I'm always one of those people because I never have like stuff on me like that. So I'll never have a pen or something if I ever need one. So I'll be like, oh, can I borrow a pen? And they'll be like, oh, sure. And they're not seeing that pen again. Like that's my pen now. And
That's
mine
no, that doesn't go well. Like
I know, but I'm just that sort of person. I'm just
good.
bad with pens, alright?
I would be the person that would loan you the pen and then expect it back.
Yeah, well, that's every person to me. Because I just, like, if they can't loan me the pen, then, like, I'm pretty sure I can just, like, go to their desk or something and, like, steal a pen. You know?
Yeah.
Making myself sound like a horrible person here.
Yes.
I'm not really. I'm alright, I'm sure.
Apart from that you steal pens from other people.
Yeah.
We have a smoke
But,
up, by the way. Relax. You're doing fine. Is smoking up to the Radiant Jungle.
I was really confused for a second there.
I
was
know,
like,
'cause
why are you saying relax, you're doing fine?
It's their name. They won't be able to fight anybody though, even... Oh, perhaps they can jump in on... No, they cannot. There's your Desolator. I like
have
that.
any... Yeah, Mirana's definitely going to be the one to pick it up this game, especially because she's the one who's also picked up a BKB, which is a really uncommon Mirana item that I hate seeing because it's just like, I've given up on trying to escape and kite people and stuff. I'm just going to get a BKB, but it's definitely the right decision in this game. He needs to be the DPS dealer for his team because, as I said before, Doom's not fantastic for it. Nexus, oh god.
Nice arrow. Can't really follow up on it though, or perhaps G can, but no, not even with the haste rune. They will be able to deny their tower, which is nice, but... Oh, blink forward. No impale that hit, though, and the Doom goes off. Now they have to commit. But can they actually get in there fast enough? Relax actually committing themselves as well. Up on G first. Looking to do the damage. The BKB on Nexus, allowing him to not get stunned by the arrow, as G himself gets stunned by familiars. Force staff to the low guard. Nobody has died just yet, as the cogs block the exit of everybody. And force staff back and forth from both sides to make sure that everybody is back on the right side of the cliff. So nobody actually died. The tower got denied. VirtusPro, I feel like they come out as victors at this non-fight. We're just wasting a lot of time on relax.
That was such a cool little fight because there were so many little escapes in that and so many situations in which people could have died. I mean, the Timbersaw maybe could have died, managed to get out twice. He got out after getting stunned up here, ran all the way up here, and then hooked down again onto this little tree stump here. So yeah, that was a really, really nice fight from them there.
Yeah, I think so too. They did use the Doom for that, of course. And that's like the biggest cooldown that was actually used in that fight. But it's not too big of a deal because it's level 3. So he'll be having it up again in 30 seconds, and they're not going to fight again in 30 seconds. They will maybe fight again in about, well, soon, when the Roshan is back up again, but for now Alchemist still has it. Like, oh, Visage, what are you doing, dude? Well, that was...
Yeah, Earthshaker just dropped the dunks on him. They went really, really aggressive with that kill. Wasn't a kill that they looked like they had, and it actually looked bad for a few moments because somebody else was coming to go and help out the Visage, but they dropped the Oko Slam as well, just to make sure they got that kill. And Light of Heaven cuts through the armor really, really well now as well with the Desolator.
Oh, KSI, he tried to hide. Could not do it, and he will end up dying for it. Nice attempt though to hide behind the tree line, but the neutrals revealed him, so good job, neutrals. And VirtusPro with the supports down, and especially with the Lich ultimate not there, they seem to be wanting to go and try high ground. I mean, they no longer have tier 3 tower standing. They will be trying this against an Alchemist that still has a Aegis though, which is quite brave.
Yeah, they can do this though, I think, because the thing is Alchemist with an Aegis still isn't a huge amount of... he isn't a huge enough threat at this point, to the point where he can force them back from the tower that easily. But it looks like they're gonna give up on this one relatively quick, because the Visage is already back, and he provides a ridiculous amount of extra magic damage coming out. With Nexus there as well, yeah, they don't want to try and risk it, really. There's no point trying to force high ground when there's the potential to just lose your entire team and, like, lose the game from that point, you know?
Yeah, understandable. They did do some damage to the tier 3 tower, which is, you know, always nice. And next time perhaps they can get it a little bit further, as it looks like Light of Heaven might look to finish up his Manta style still. pretty decent. I mean, his inventory started to look pretty good. He was, of course, the offlaner and an aggressive trilaner that really didn't work out all too well. But he has really picked himself up. He is still second highest for his team on net worth. And still only in the top 4. There's still 3 of VirtusPro there, with only the Alchemist able to keep up. And as you said, just an Alchemist by himself. I mean, he's gonna survive long, but he doesn't really put out the damage as much as, for example, a Doom would in this case. Doom, who seems to be going for a heart, by the way, so more survivability for him as well. Leaving the crystal, or leaving the Mirana to do the damage in this game.
Yeah, it looks like they're just trying to use the Doom as things go later, and as his damage potential sort of falls apart a little bit, as he struggles a little bit more to get into the fights and stuff, they're just using him as a big aura now. Like, he's just carrying a ton of auras. He's going to be carrying, you know, their potential to go up onto the high ground and take a fight to the enemy. He's going to be essentially their initiator. I mean, that's another reason why you pick up the Shadow Blade. He can get into those positions, make sure he gets the Doom out on the right person, and that will start the fight for them in a really, really advantageous way.
Yeah, and G, I mean, normally you'd see Timbersaw being the initiator, but he is not really having the easiest time to try and do that. The Doom, I mean the spell Doom, should actually be the initiator, as it has been the last couple of fights, because G is just, I don't know, he's been picked off every time he came too close, and he's too fast to be there together with his team. He has got a Bloodstone though, which is nice. He's sitting on 3,300 gold as well. I hope that he's actually going for a Scythe of Ice, because I feel like that's something that they lack. Of course, there's still quite some disable coming off from VirtusPro, but most of that is in the form of Arsart. And I feel like if their Fissure and Echo Slam has been dropped, at some point, not everybody of Relax will try to back off afterwards. They will try to fight. So more lockdown is more than welcome, I think, on the side of VirtusPro.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, and it is going to be a sheep. It's going to be a sheep in like a few seconds, pretty much, from him. He's also got Blade Mail. Like you said, he does have a Bloodstone with a fair amount of charges here, but he's not been as... I mean, Timbersaw is a snowball hero, and he had a difficult early game. He tried for a few kills, but that was before they really managed to coordinate themselves, and before they had control of this game.
Wait, do you see the Siege Creep in the middle lane? Why does it have 0 HP and is still alive?
What, where?
In the middle lane.
Oh, it's because of the way damage is calculated, and with the damage is calculated not to the actual number that you see. Damage is calculated to like percentage points, I think, or
well,
I'm not
exactly
just a
sure
how it
Siege
works.
Creep, to be honest.
No, this is legit.
I know,
I've seen this before, like people getting really angry about 0 HP units. See, it's a real unit. It's like 2 units can have 6 armor, for instance, but they can have different physical damage resistances, because you can have like 6.1 armor and 6.7 armor and stuff like that. I know, it's really weird, and the first time I found out about it, I was just like, how pointless is that? Because it just makes things that a little bit too hard to predict sometimes.
Yeah, now I know why I missed tower hits, like, or last hits on Siege Creeps, when the tower is hitting them as well. It's always different.
Last hits on Siege Creeps when the tower is hitting them is like the most upsetting thing for any Dota player ever. Like, it is truly horrifying to see a Siege Creep get hit by a tower and then be like, I have no clue how many times I have to hit this depending on hero you're on. Some heroes you're okay, like if you've got good enough base damage, you can be like,
some
whatever.
heroes you only have to hit them once after the tower hit them 3 times, but sometimes you have to hit them twice. This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's because some heroes have terrible base damage.
Yep. Well, both teams playing quite passive at the moment. I say that as Clockwork misses a hook. But, I mean, the Roshan is up against soon, and I feel like both teams will want to have that 12 seconds until it's up. And that's going to be a big catalyst, I think, to form a fight, because neither team, like, even though VirtusPro is really far ahead, they are like 13k gold ahead, 14k gold ahead, as he finds himself to... Oh, Jesus, he is like a truck. He just got lucky with crits. Of course, he has the wolf. This is gonna be a Roshan for VirtusPro. No, the buyback is there. They know they have to try this. Hook shot in, doesn't hit upon Illidan. He turns on his BKB, wants to get away from this one. The cogs still allowing to walk past them. Moonlight Shadow will lock his exit off as well. Fissure. Well, that's like escape plan secured.
Yeah, surprised they didn't go back in there as soon as the Fissure hit. They had 2 or 3 people then that AA could have tried for an Echo Slam on. They're going to try and wait, I think, for Relax to go in for this, but look how quickly Nexus is taking down the Roshan here.
I was saying, that's already an yeah, that's already Nexus Assassin with an Aegis. VirtusPro, I felt like they could have taken this fight. But at this moment, maybe now Relax has got some more edge, a bit of a more edge, perhaps they will try to more actively look for a fight. But because they didn't really, neither team didn't really know if they were ahead or not, or at least they knew that if they were the ones to initiate, they wouldn't have the positioning upper hand to take the fight, and that goes for both teams. They just played passive until they had something to fight for, which was the Aegis, but for VirtusPro they just let it slip by, because I think they underestimated the speed of which Alchemist took down that Aegis, the Roshan.
Yeah, he's just picked up a Basher, and he's just getting to the point where he can do that really, really fast, and they had the minus armor as well.
Yeah. Oh. And looking still for fights though. BKB's turned on all around. Illidan looking for Nexus, but he's gonna be able to be fine. Familiars might not be so fine. Oh, hookshot in. Catches Illidan with his BKB on cooldown, but Chaklo doesn't want to be there anymore. Lich ultimate still bouncing around. Illidan stuck for the moment. Oh, and there comes the damage from Light of Heaven with the Manta style, burning everybody to pieces. Aegis is taken down, as well as Nyx, Lich, and Clockwork. Back up again is the Alchemist, who will be in some trouble. He is frostbitten up. At least he's arrowed. He's dead. That's gonna be another kill. Crystal Maiden with the freezing field. Chaklo, he just bought back. Cannot afford to die again. Doesn't pick up Illidan though, which is what he wanted to try in the end. It's a 3-for-2 exchange. Am I saying that right? 3-for-1 exchange. 3-for-2 because Earthshaker bought back as well. It's not yet over either, because the arrow comes in. They want to go for Dread. The arrow hits. That's gonna be Dread dead. Buyback again. Buybacks all over the place from both teams, but it is VirtusPro that's coming out ahead, and they are already bashing on the tier 3 tower, which has got fortified, but wow, that's a useless soul assumption.
Nice soul assumption.
Yeah. That was 0 stacks,
that
right?
Fight, yeah, it was completely 0 stacks one. He didn't. It does like 65 damage. It's nice.
Great. Ooh,
It doesn't even do 65 because of the resistance. It's like 40 damage. It's awful.
That is really awful. Well, I think we're gonna see Rex drop. Light of Heaven is proven to be the menace here with the Desolator. Nobody can stand in his way. The building killers. It's only 25 to 24 in terms of kills. But VirtusPro, now with the minus armor maxed out and with only up against the Alchemist that they were able to take down, they easily took that fight, even with all the buybacks happening on the side of Relax. Relax is going to have their Alchemist back up again shortly though, and he has got his Abyssal Blade. Perhaps they can make a stand. BKB turned on again by Illidan. He's just trying to go for these racks. Doesn't care about anything else. Does get stunned, but he's going to be in a Shadow Blade beforehand. Another Lich Ultimate bouncing around. This is the second time this fight. That's how long the fight takes. Wow, that was an Earthshaker in the wrong place, wrong time. Nexus is looking for more blood. BKB is about to run out though, and perhaps there's going to be a turn and burn. No. Battery Assault interrupts G's Timber Chain, but with the Moonlight Shadow, he can still get himself out. If he actually hits the tree. Now he might have just killed himself. Do you think? Nah, Timber Chain to the high ground. Nice. Hookshot misses. Nice dodge. If it was intentional or not, it was nice.
Oh, he's still not going to get away. This is such a long chase for G.
Yeah, I mean, that was... I feel like it could have been safe there.
I mean, if he could use the Timber Chain, then yeah, sure.
Well, like he missed it twice,
he missed like 2. Yeah, he missed 2 in that. That's really embarrassing for him. He's probably really quite angry with himself. I know I would be after that one.
Yep.
Like, oh god. There's no way I should have died there, but I made a mistake twice.
And if he ran a different way as well with his Moonlight Shadow on. I think.
Yeah.
Maybe
Either way, really nice fight for VP though. They managed to take the racks from that, and you know how I was talking earlier about how Doom is just going to be their initiator and just a big aura and a big presence in the fight rather than actually doing a huge amount of damage? I mean, he does a lot because he can crit, but he doesn't do anywhere near as much as the Mirana's able to do DPS-wise. That was exactly the problem with that fight. Relax absolutely went onto Illidan every single time they could do. When the Alchemist died, he was frostbitten around here because he was running towards the Alchemist, towards the Doom, sorry. And there was no reason to, because the Doom had spent everything. The Doom was virtually out of mana. And there was a Mirana all of 2 or 3 feet away from him who could have managed to get on and probably would have killed, because Mirana's a squishy hero and I believe her BKB was off. she's doing the majority of the damage, but Doom is the man with all the health points. They're scared of him. I mean, they're falling a little bit to psychology. Yeah, psychology? I said that really weird. Ugh.
Yes, you did. But it's okay, because I do that too. But it's like it's World of Warcraft, where the main creep hits the tank, and someone else does the damage. Something that,
Oh
you
god,
know, you normally...
don't bring back tanks. I have like a personal hate against tank. You know when you're like playing in like kind of bad matchmaking pools, and people will be like, pick tank. Like,
people are actually gonna focus you if you're a tank. Like, but
yeah,
apparently
I know, right?
they
like,
do.
Building hearts doesn't make people hit you, dude. It's so annoying.
But apparently they do, though, because Illidan really serves as a tank there, with Mirana just sitting behind him and being completely ignored. And even if her BKB was on or off, I mean, Alchemist, if he actually walks up to Mirana, she'll die real fast.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had, I mean, he was working with Chemical Rage on, and I'm pretty sure he would have killed Mirana in 2 hits, which is, like, less than a second. So it was just one of those points in which you were like, oh no.
Oh,
this is another one of those points.
Those fast fingers from Arsart. The moment that he saw Tamer Wild come up, Crystal Maiden will still go down. That's at least something. Nexus starting to bash another. Then Abyssal Blade comes out as well. They will take him down. Arsart's still alive at this moment, but perhaps Chocolate can get a hook shot off. He really wants to. Goes for someone else instead, but that's just an illusion. Timbersaw committing suicide. We only have 2 heroes left alive. Crystal Maiden is one of those, but that's only because she bought back. And Arsart, he is going to be the one running for his life. The hook shot still comes though, and that's going to be his life. Of cooldout again because of the Aghanims, of course. I have to say, I mean, that all started with Arsart staying alive. They still got Tamer Wild off the back of that, but good initiation nonetheless. Making advantage from the chaos that Tamer Wild created.
Yeah, the issue with that fight was really just the amount of damage that Mirana had taken in such a short time, and then she got trapped up here behind the fissure, which is really, really bad for her. And from that point on, she was just trapped behind the fissure. She wasn't able to do enough DPS. They just had to get out of there. Illidan got bashed to death as well. I mean, he's starting to drop a lot faster. We were talking before about, you know, how tanky he is, but the Alchemist now with a full Super Basher up, I mean, he's on another 6k. He's probably thinking about selling his armlet now, which is pretty extreme when you're selling a 2.5k item.
Yeah. Shadowblade might be another one that that he wants to get rid of, and it looks like Illidan wants to have some of that medicine because he picked up a basher. He wants to bash Nexus in return. You bash me, I bash you. That's the way it's gonna be here for this game. So far, I have to say, both teams, like despite the 20k gold difference, which is actually quite big, seemingly very even still.
Yeah, this is a really even game for both teams at the moment, and I don't think the gold difference, I think at this point, you can just write it off, because it's all about execution. We just saw one fight where the side of VP were able to take mid-racks very easily from it. They were able to stay in the fight for a very long time, and then we saw another fight up on the top lane where Relax just kind of walked all over them. Despite, you know, pretty good play from Arsart in the middle of the fight. So it's all about execution, it's all about initiation at this point. Gold lead going to make very little difference apart from the new Daedalus. You said he was going to sell the Shadowblade. I would have thought he'd sell the armlet first.
Oh, Nexus, well, armlet, Shadowblade or not, he's dead. He did buy back, saved enough gold for that one. Shadowblade indeed removed the need for the Daedalus. Hook shot. Oh, he catches Light of Heaven and he doesn't have a leap. He might be in trouble. It turns on a BKB, just turns onto the clockwork. Not sure if he can do enough damage in time though, actually. He might just do that. No, Lich Ultimate bouncing around. Now the leap is there again. Gets himself out, or leap there and get in a second. He'll be able to stay alive. Moonlight Shadow blocking his exit right there. That was Nexus buyback. So next time he dies, he's gonna be dead for a really long time, and that might be the end of the game.
Yeah, he absolutely cannot afford to get caught out anymore, which is why I'm slightly surprised he would have sold his Shadowblade at this point. Because one thing about that is, he puts the pressure on the enemy team with the Shadowblade. Anybody that isn't next to somebody holding a gem, or next to a sentry ward, is always in danger if you can't see Nexus on the map, and he has a Shadowblade. Whereas at this point, there's still possibility that they can get away. Mirana can probably make his way away. The Doom can, maybe even the Earthshaker, and yeah, the only people that are really going to struggle with getting away from him are maybe the the Crystal Maiden, although it looks like Crystal Maiden's going to go up past the Teemo Wild here. Teemo Wild going on a really odd route here.
Yeah, very aggressive and low on mana as he goes. He actually still has got the magic stick. Teemo Wild, if you look at his inventory, you would not say he is a solo mid Nyx Assassin. We have seen at 55 minutes in, Nyx Assassin support that were more farmed than he is right now. He is actually second highest on net worth for his team. He is way behind the Visage, who has got aside the Vice and then Aghanims. I mean, he's looking pretty fat.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, once a Nyx Assassin doesn't start getting a lot of kills on the map, I think it's a smart move from the side of Relax to actually put a farm priority on the Visage, because the Visage does scale a lot better, and he does farm faster as well. So if you give him space to farm, he's going to get items quicker.
Oh, gee. Came back to the high ground where everybody was. Echo Slam comes out of our side though, is able to at least land the Fisher before he dies, but everybody dies so fast. BKB's turned on, but the Cogs, Ilden blocked in. Light of Heaven can't reach it either. Now he can reach it, but now he doesn't want to. Now he wants to leave, but he can't. Light of Heaven bashed and killed. And the Crystal Maiden running for her life with the BKB. Looks like she'll be able to make it out, but the Roshan will be going the way of Relax. What a fight that was from the low ground. VirtusPro completely cut out. Brilliant smoke from Relax.
Yeah, really, really nice from them, and absolutely perfect time to catch them as well. They caught the Timbersaw while he was halfway up the river. Awful for him, and nobody but the Mirana has buyback at this point. So this could be the point in which you just say YOLO it and run down mid. They really, really need to get something done in this period here. They can force the Mirana to buy back. The Earthshaker will probably be back by the time they get to the enemy base, but Doom almost certainly won't be, and he does, well, he has the money for buyback. It's going to be off cooldown in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think lucky for VirtusPro, they still have a tier 2 tower standing, and of course, there's already mega creeps in the mid lane, so mid lane is harder to push than it otherwise would be, and the rest of the lanes were nicely pushed out, so they won't be taking any wrecks off the back of it, and perhaps they'll even have trouble taking down the tier 2, because it's even standing on almost full health still. Though no Doom for another 50 seconds might just be all they need. And actually, from this fight, Alchemist is actually highest in net worth right now. I think that's for the first time this game that he is actually higher on net worth.
Yeah, it's taken him a long time, but apparently killing heroes with Grieval's Greed equals a lot of money, apparently. Because he's getting to that point where he can start farming heroes now. I mean, he's got a full Daedalus, Abyssal Blade. He's really, really stacked. I mean, he's just picked up Boots of Travel, and he'll still have buyback money relatively soon. It's not off cooldown yet, but I doubt he's going to die for another couple minutes, as long as he plays things, you know, relatively safe.
Yeah, well, no pressure. Relatively safe playing, I mean, he can do it, of course he can. I kind of think that for Relax, the longer this game goes on, I mean, we already are 1 hour in this game. And there's still 3 cores. The split push that VirtusPro can throw out at some point is gonna be overcoming Poseidon. And I kind of think that Poseidon, or Relax rather, should be trying to make things happen, so not play too safe. Actually, like the smoke they just did was perfect. They should be the ones to initiate. They should be the ones to call the shots, tell everybody where and when something happens. And on top of that, I mean, they have an Aegis still, don't they? Did they? Yeah, they have.
Yeah, they just picked up an Aegis from the. As soon as they did that fight, they went for Roshan, which, oddly enough, I think was maybe a mistake. I think they could have actually done buybacks just by pushing out.
Hello?
Kill it so fast at this point anyway, where it's like almost impossible to counter initiate.
Okay, so you dropped out there for a second. Oh, looks like Teemo Wild is
am I back?
Good. Yeah, you're back.
Okay, alright.
Teemo Wild will be able to TP you out though.
What a ninja.
Yeah, you're right though. I mean, they could have probably taken a tower and then taken Roshan afterwards, rather than not getting, like, only getting one of the 2 objectives. But they went better safe than sorry, went for the Aegis. It doesn't look like they want to put it to use though, which is something that I find a shame. And VirtusPro is actually going to be trying to fight Aegis or not. They don't care. They're apparently just going to walk up. Perhaps they just want to take down mid. Perhaps they want... Like right now, of course, VirtusPro has the option. Like, do they want to take it the safe route? Take down the Rex top. Take down the Rex bottom. Or do they want to just YOLO go for tier 4s? After taking down...
I think they should just... I mean, there's nobody in the base. There's nobody defending. But they're really looking hard for this kill. Which is funny because... even with 1 kill, I don't think either of these teams can actually end the game. It looks like they're going to meet in a few seconds, though.
Yeah, Courier seen first. There goes a Doom already up on the clockwork. No cogs this fight, but he gets forced up into safety. It is gonna be Relaxed trying to back out. The Moonlight Shadow blocking the exit. Alchemist turns on his BKB. Fisher doesn't hit him. He will end up stunning himself, or at least he would have if he didn't have his BKB on. Well, where is he gonna go? That Moonlight Shadow is doing the works for VirtusPro at this moment. Making sure that Relax has a tough time on initiating. BKB turned on by the Crystal Main. Turns on Freezing Field. KSI though, force-staffed out of the range of the Freezing Field. And Shaklo seemingly not even hurt by it. That's gonna be an Earthshaker death. That's the first one to die. Impale, Light of Heaven will be focused next. And focus hard. Second one, a third one to die actually, as Timbersaw got picked up by the Alchemist. They look for the Crystal Main. There's very little hope for her to get away. Yeah, that's one hit to almost take all her life points away. VirtusPro, I mean, that Moonlight Shadow was real good. They were able to delay the initiation from Relax, but when it came, they just didn't seem to know what they want to do with it.
Yeah, the fight then, both teams looked a little bit wonky at first. Nexus, actually, I was really worried for him because at one point, later in the fight, Light of Heaven started focusing him up. He didn't have his armlet on, he didn't have his BKB on, he didn't have his ulti on. Actually, no, he had his armlet, but he didn't have his ulti or his BKB on. But by that point, the fight had already started, the rest of Relax had gotten into VP then, and the side of VP are just starting to drop like flies in these fights. I think Relax is starting to pull to a point where Nexus might become invincible.
Well, that Alchemist, I mean, he's pretty close to invincible, because like he's sitting on 7.6k gold, and he can still indeed sell his armlet if he wants to.
Yeah, he could. I'm not sure exactly. I can't bother doing the math on it because I'm awful. But he could maybe like buy back by a rapier or something ridiculous.
Illidan, some trouble. He came in from behind, and it shows Arsa picked up as well. This could be Relax taking the game home. Look at that gold graph, or this is the experience graph, from 12k in favor of VirtusPro to 10k in favor of Relax. Gold graph from 12k or 20k in favor of VirtusPro down to the 5k, and if Relax is able to take this base right now, it will be a lot more than 5k. Luckily, still for VirtusPro, they hold on to their tier 2, so this game is far from over, but Nexus sure looks like he wants it to be over. His items scream, I'm done farming. Let's fight.
He's got another 10k now.
Yeah.
I think he's actually going to go back. No. Why can't you just run in and fight like a man? God. He's so powerful at this point. It's really scary. They're even putting the ice armor up on him. He's got like... He's got almost 70% physical damage resistance at this point. And one thing that was really, really crucial as soon as that fight started then, Earthshaker, Arsart's Earthshaker, he blinked in and then got immediately bashed.
Yep.
It was like a first hit bash. He didn't manage to get Echo Slam off. A horrible, horrible position to be in if you're an Earthshaker.
That's a new item.
Wait,
Skadi.
what? Was that a Skadi?
That is a Skadi.
What?
That's gonna be no more armlet. But Skadi gives a lot of stats. It's awesome. I like it. Next to Skadi. Yep. And that's a lot of boots of travels, by the way. And that could be their next plan. They've got themselves familiars that they could boots of travels towards. They could attempt to backstab this.
They could do that, yeah.
They got the damage for the tier 4s.
Yeah. And one thing they should do if they're going to try and do that is maybe just pick up like a Helm of the Dominator on some hero who like doesn't need it. Because then if you grab one of the creeps inside the base, you can get rid of the backdoor regen.
Yes. That would be ideal. Well, VirtusPro, I feel like the ball's in their court, but Relax is about to take it away from them if they indeed try to make a play like that, because VirtusPro is the one that I feel like should be trying to initiate right now. They are the ones behind. They are the ones who have got a ticking time bomb all of a sudden on the other side, because they can't go against this Alchemist when Alchemist decides the terms. It's just that simple. They need to find an opening. They need to catch someone off guard, take him down, and then fight 4-on-5 and then hope it's going to work out okay. But look at the difference in net worth between the Alchemist and the Mirana. It's 12k difference.
Yeah, and not only is that a huge difference in net worth, but Mirana is, as we said before, not really a carry hero. I mean, she can kind of do it, but she can kind of do it because of what? Because she's a ranged hero. There's no natural ability as a carry hero from the hero. Oh god, my voice just exploded. But yeah, this could be really, really bad for the side of VirtusPro, and they don't look like they have a way of ending the game. That's one issue for me. I don't think they have a plan anymore for how they beat Relax.
They kind of have to have a plan. Do you feel like they, like VirtusPro, have a missed opportunity somewhere where they could have taken more than what they have right now?
I feel like that smoke mid, they should have just, like, they could have maybe just gone top racks. They could have... I mean, one thing to think about is that range barracks, they don't make a huge difference, but they could have just killed those.
Oh, Arsart linking himself out. The hookshot still hits. Moonlight Shadow once again coming out from Relax. They're looking to initiate. They might be able to pick up KSI, but the mechanism will keep him up. The Doom up on Nexus. Now they might be able to make a difference right here. If they can pick him up, he of course has got buyback. Lich is the first one to die. Nexus, I mean, he just regens over the Doom. That's just terrible to see. Like, yeah, that's Alchemist living an Abyssal. Gee, you're dead. That is absolutely horrendous that they couldn't finish up Nexus. And right now, VirtusPro, you better run and hide. Run for your life. The two highest farmers on the side of VirtusPro are still alive, but without their backup, I fear that they are worth nothing whatsoever, and Relax could decide to end the game right now.
Yeah, I think this is the point where you go, you finish things. I mean, it's taken them 60-odd minutes to do it, but they finally found a fight where they can definitely just run into the enemy base. And like you said there, they got the Doom off on the right target. They got it off on the Alchemist. Light of Heaven was focusing him, and then they just lost him in the fight. He just managed to get away from them. It was a really, really terrible moment for them, because it looked to me at the start of that fight like VP might actually have things, because they did manage to get the Alchemist down to about half health with Doom on him. If Mirana kept on focusing him for a few more seconds and hit a couple of crits, they probably have got him.
Yeah, I'm sure they would have, but they just changed targets, lost him in the, like you said, couldn't find him anymore. Rex will drop right now, and they have to wait for their team to be back up. VirtusPro, that is. Again, they're still a tier 2 standing top, so that's again VirtusPro's lucky charm that they were so prone into holding on to those towers so early on in the game. It's still not over. But VirtusPro,
I mean,
definitely
it's
on the
almost
back foot.
over.
Yes. The gold graph is back to exactly 0. Look at that.
Oh, really?
Yep.
My god, that is like, it's not even like a little bit off. That's right on the line.
Yeah,
wow.
we can wait for it
impressive.
to happen. If VirtusPro get like 60, 70 gold, then they will get it. Oh, no, 100 gold different right now. Damn it. No.
Wow, that's pretty small.
Yep. It's insane. And again, Relax, they are just going for the Roshan.
They haven't even been putting these Aegis Nexus so far. You see, they're putting it on the Nyx Assassin. That's the second time he's held Aegis this game, whilst Nexus killed Roshan. That's how confident of how tanky Nexus actually is at this point. Yeah. He's sitting at, like, just thousands upon thousands of effective HP at this point. He's got masses of armor, he's got himself a ton of stats, he's got a BKB, and of course he's got Chemical Rage as well.
And if by happenance he does go down, I mean, he's got nothing else to buy with his gold apart from buying back, and perhaps a new BKB, because, oh no, never mind, the BKB is also in 10 seconds, this is already a second BKB.
This is a new BKB, and he has another 7k gold and buyback. This is horrifyingly farmed. This is like...
And even Doom can't hurt him because, as in the spell Doom, because he'll just regen out of it.
Yeah, he's ridiculously farmed at this point. I'm not actually sure on the interaction there. Does Doom not, like, turn off Chemical Rage? I would have thought it would. I'd feel really cheated if I doomed him and it didn't. I think you're right, though. I think it works.
If it's on beforehand, then it's on. Just like Rot is on, for example, when you doom a Pudge while he has Rot on.
That's like the funniest thing I've ever seen, when a Pudge gets doomed and they're just like standing there, just like, I wish I could stop this. Yeah. I suffer from terrible BO. Please.
Well, Smoke and Moonlight Shadow, VirtusPro hexing up Tamer well, but they're not focusing him down just yet. Or will they? Illidan will, if he can find it. Doom up in the meantime, up on the Clockwork. There's already a Visit dead, but Visit bought back, and Nexus is going to town on Illidan. Illidan, he cannot get out. The bashes, the impales. Light of Heaven drops as well. Medved will go down. There are no more buybacks, and that has to be it. Doom still has a buyback and Timber saw, but Doom already back and already dead by the looks of it. He cannot hope to live through that one. That is a GG called, and Relax will take their 6th game and will be 3-3 here in StarLadder Star Series Season 8, Day 9. I have to say, I am impressed. During the first couple of minutes of the game, we said, like, they have got 1 core, VirtusPro has 3. Well, they made it work with that 1 core who was incredibly big at that point. Impressive.
He has ended the game on 42,000 net worth. That's insane. He's one of the most farmed carries I have seen. That's like up there with like Lone Druid level of like ultra late game stupid farm.
Well, we're gonna quickly jump ourselves into the next game because we're quite behind schedule because of this 17-minute game. We're gonna see VirtusPro again. This time they're gonna be going up against Power Rangers, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.